Item 11.
Yes, perhaps our county attorney could briefly explain the item, what's proposed, and then it's my understanding there were several citizens who wanted to speak to this item.
This is a request for the board to approve an amended and restated administrative policy governing the processing of public records requests and to repeal the existing administrative policy governing public records. This policy makes a few changes to the existing policy. The main substantive one is that it would require a deposit for any public records request that came in. If it was estimated to cost more than $10, the citizen would need to make a deposit of the full amount that would then be trued up depending on the actual cost. The reason for this is because staff has had some issues. Deposits are clearly allowed under Florida law, and staff has had some issues with large deposits that are large dollar amounts being of staff time and copying costs being put into requests, and then the requester does not come back and pick them up. And so the county is out that money and that time. And so the main substantive change here is the requirement for a deposit. There are some additional statements that we've put in here, and we've reorganized it a bit, but mainly that is the substantive change.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Move to approve the amended and restated administrative policy governing the process of public records request and repeal existing administrative policy number 07-01 governing public records.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Brockton, seconded by Mr. Merritt. Citizens to be heard, Chuck Hess. Okay. And Hugh Taylor.
Thank you.
Not really.
Thank you.
Commissioners, thank you. My name is Hugh Taylor. I live on Martin Luther King Road. I'd like to try to get this item tabled or workshopped. I feel there are other citizens who might also want to give some input, and discussion's pretty tough in just 3 minutes. First, I'd like to digress. There will be a public records and a public meeting forum Friday, March 18th, excuse me, at 7 at the library with the Council for the First Amendment Foundation speaking. This will be sponsored by CCAL and the Wakulla League of Women Voters. My overarching concern with the revised policy is subjectivity. There's no clear quantification, and it just keeps things loose. It's not quite, Heather and I disagree, but it's not quite about deposits. For example, relative to subjectivity, last week we had a special meeting called with only 2 days notice, but when I attended this meeting, nothing substantive was discussed. I don't think it was a special meeting. Within the past 2 weeks, I asked for clarification on speaking time, combining speaking time, and was told that the limit was 3 minutes unless the chairman extends or reduces the time. That shows the pitfalls of subjectivity right there, some more equal than others. Because of that, I submit the following changes that I just gave you. I'm sure that others with a little more time would have some also, and I'm sure Ms. Encinosa could clean up the language had this been workshopped or regularly noticed as an agenda item. Relative to the other PowerPoint, it's available to see, or will be available to see on YouTube at wakulla.com if you want to see financial contributions and their effects. Thank you.
Okay. Discussion by the board?
Yeah, I'm just seeing this, and Heather, were you given it further in advance or just now?
I just got it this afternoon, and I
Okay.
spoke with Mr. Taylor, and I'll take a look at it, and if, as I told Mr. Taylor, I'll talk with staff, and if there are things that we'd like to bring back for further clarifications, we certainly can. But this, I do want to clarify, this policy is not your meeting policy. This is just the public records. So the special meetings and all of that, that's not affected by this change at all, what you're voting on tonight.
Okay.
Okay, I would appreciate if you would
Certainly. I'll take-
consider that. Thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, I just want to add before we vote that we have, I believe in First Amendment rights. I want you to understand that, public, first of all. We want to work by the Sunshine Law, and we do. I think knowing where we came from to where we are now, we have made leaps and bounds in the positive direction. And with the help of Heather, I can tell you that we have one staff person, and she's here tonight, works full-time on public records requests. Y'all don't believe the number of public records requests we have. It's amazing, the number. I wished I had the number in front of me, but Tim, do you have that number, how it's grown? And this is fine, but I want to make sure the public understands what we're spending your tax money doing, so you know why we're not doing other things we should be doing. But go ahead, Tim.
In 2007, we had a total of, for the whole year, 32. In 2008, we had 45. In 2009, we had 58. 2010, we had 255. And as of today, the end of February, we've had 59 so far this year. So if you extrapolate that out, we're projecting 354 public records requests this year. The pace.
That request could be for a 30-page document, it could be for 1 page, it could be for someone's entire personnel file. That's not number of pages, that's I want to
individual
see
request.
such and such as personnel file, I want every document in it.
And I just want to make sure that the public understands and appreciates what we do with public records requesting. We spend a ton of time. I mean, you have to meticulously go through these files and make sure you redact all the private information that can't be shared with the public. And it takes a lot of time and effort. And I can tell you, I have been in that office over there when this lady, Virginia Deacle, has been lambasted by the public because she's trying to do her job to the point where, had I been in her shoes, I would have pushed that little red button and had the sheriff's department come and arrest some people for harassment. I mean, that, folks, if let us do our job, let us answer whatever you need, we're going to get it for you. I wanted to say that to you. This board is determined to do that. And we want to be good public servants of the public records. And we want to provide those in a timely manner. But understand that the job goes on over there. And we have other things to do, and we're going to put you in the queue, and we're going to answer it as it comes to us. But don't be disrespectful to these folks who are waiting on you, please. Treat them with the same respect that you'd like to be treated with. And that's all I'm asking that you do for them. And I think that's important that you do that. If you can't do that, then have somebody else come and get the public records request. And we want to work with you, and this in no way is trying to change what the law says. We're not trying to do that. We're going to provide the records in a timely fashion. So, no more discussion. All for the motion. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.